Hello students, today we are going to cover another important topic, digoxin. In the previous classes we have covered 4 phytoconstants. We have covered forskolin, we have covered xenosides, artemisinin and dioxin. So moving on to next phytoconstant of your syllabus, this is digoxin. You must have heard digitalis. Actually, the phytoconstant digoxin, it is a cardinolide, and this is isolated from the drug digitalis lanata. The drug digitalis lanata is commonly called as Fox gloves, and this drug belongs to a family which is called as Scrophulariaceae family. Since we are concerned about the isolation part of the phytoconstant phytoconstant digoxin, so we must know the structure of digoxin. So if you can see the diagram, this is the structure of digoxin, and being a glycoside, this structure is divided into 2 parts: a glycone part and an aglycone part. The aglycone part is also called as genin, and if you classify it in the terms of the aglycones, it is called as deoxygenin. Its name is deoxygenin. If you look at the chemical structure, you see that the glycone is attached with the aglycone moiety using oxygen. So you can also classify it as in the category of O glycosides. If you see in the structure, they are beta hydroxylated. There is a hydroxylation at beta position at C12 position. So these are also called as beta hydroxylated steroidal saponins. Because it is the moiety of steroid, you must have learned in the medicinal chemistry. This is cyclopentadiene ring nucleus. This is the basic nucleus to which a sugar is attached, and it will form the compound digoxin. If you look at the mechanism of action, because here we are concerned about the phytoconstant, so we must know how our phytoconstant is going to act on the human body. So digoxin is being a cardinolide, it acts on the cardiac muscles. If you see at the mechanism of action, these are the cardiac muscles, and this is the membrane on which we are having sodium potassium ATPase channels. These channels are responsible for movement of calcium inside and outside the cell. So if you see, there is it is located on the membrane, and you can see that there is only one atom of calcium. So in normal conditions, if your calcium level decreases, then it can cause heart problems. So in that case, what this digoxin do? This digoxin, it attaches to the sodium potassium ATPase channel, and it block that channel. And because of the blockade of this channel, there is an increase in the concentration of calcium inside your intracellular space. So inside the cell, the concentration of calcium increases, and this increased concentration of calcium, it causes enhanced cardiac contractility. So in this way, your phytoconstant is going to act on your cardiac muscles. If we move on to the physical properties, because here we are concerned about the isolated phytoconstant, single isolated phytoconstant. So we must know how it looks. So if you see physical properties, it's a white crystalline powder, and it is odorless. Solubility is important, as I am already concerned about the solubility portion. It is because when we are isolating the phytoconstant, we have to use the solvents, the proper solvents for isolation of phytoconstant, and the proper solvent should be one in which the phytoconstant is soluble. So if you see as the solubility, the compound digoxin, it is insoluble in water and it is soluble in ethanol. So from this solubility parameter, we come to know that we can use ethanol or methanol or any other alcohol for isolation of phytoconstituent digoxin. There are many methods for isolation or extraction of this phytoconstituent, and we have discussed. We are going to discuss one of the widely used industrial production method for isolation of digoxin. What we do, we expose the leaves, the moistened leaf. First we take the leaf powder and we moist them using water. After moistening them with water, we add the enzyme glucosidase and keep the content at 37 degrees Celsius, or you can say the equivalent to the body temperature. After this exposure, the glucosidase, it acts on the drug and it starts breaking the glucose which is available in the leaves or the leaf powder. Through this method, we cause the removal of glucose. Complete removal of glucose can be achieved after this step. So glucose will not interfere in the isolation process in the next procedures. Then the content is then extracted with ethanol. So in the previously we have seen that it is the diazoxanide, it is soluble in ethanol. So or any alcohol. So here we have used the solvent ethanol for extraction of the phytoconstituent into the solvent. So the extract, after extraction we obtain the extract. The filtrate we obtain. In that filtrate we add lead acetate, and that lead acetate will precipitate the tannins and other phenolic compounds which are present or which are extracted in the ethanolic extract along with the diazoxanide. In this way, we have removed the tannic acid and the tannins and the phenolic compounds, and the precipitate is removed out, and the filtrate we obtain. The filtrate is then concentrated using vacuum rotary evaporator, and to that filtrate is evaporated to dry extract. And this dried extract can be, which is a crude, you can say crude diazoxanide. It's a crude digoxin. This crude digoxin can further be purified using various techniques like column chromatography, and the compound is then recrystallized using ethanol or any other suitable solvent. In this way, we have isolated the phytoconstituent digoxin. The final product that we obtain after purification and recrystallization is white crystalline digoxin powder. It's a powder which is white in color and it is a crystalline powder. Then this is about the production method we have employed for isolation and extraction of phytoconstituent digoxin. And moving on to the identification part. So it is also very important to know what we have isolated, whether we have isolated the exactly the same chemical constant or the phytoconstituent which we intended to isolate. So for that we can use a specific chemical test for cardinolites. In this test, this test is called as Lieberman test, and there is another test which is called Lieberman-Booker test. So Lieberman test is basically employed for detection of cardinolites. In this test, what we do, we took the sample of the drug and we add acetic anhydride to it. And to the mixture of acetic anhydride and the drug, we add few drops of concentrated H2SO4. Addition of concentrated H2SO4 changes the color of the mixture. The color of the mixture changes to reddish violet, which is then again after few times or few minutes, it is then converted into green color. And the appearance of that green color shows the confirmatory test of presence of cardiac leukocyte or cardinolites for digoxin. Since we are also concerned about the isolation or estimation of the constituent in our sample. So for estimation or analysis of phytoconstituent in the sample, we perform various sophisticated techniques like HPTLC, HPLC, and TLC also we can use for phytochemistry. So here we have mentioned the conditions for thin layer chromatography. Here we use the silica gel, fluorescent silica gel, which is called as silica gel 60F254 or 256. The mobile phase for this analysis we have used is ethyl acetate, methanol, and water in a ratio of 81, 11, and 18. 8. 81, 11, 8, ethyl acetate, methanol, and water. In this particular mobile phase, we develop our TLC plate, and after developing the TLC plate, we dry it in the air dry. After air drying, we use the spray reagent, which is called as Cadiz reagent. Cadiz reagent is also very important reagent in case of cardenolites, because it is the only reagent which identifies or which separates the bufadenolites from cardenolites. So Cadiz test can be used to differentiate between bufadenolites and cardenolites, and they both are cardiac glycosides. So we spray the Cadiz reagent and observe our plate under long wavelength at 365 nanometers under UV radiation, and in these conditions we obtain the spot of our phytoconstituent digoxin at an RF value of 0.65, and this condition or this RF confirms the presence of our phytoconstituent digoxin in the sample which we are analyzing. There is a method for preparation of your sample and preparation of your standard, which we have used in the development of TLC or TLC chromatogram. So we have prepared the standard by dissolving 1 mg of digoxin in 1 ml of methanol, and we have applied the spot using the syringe on the TLC plate. And for sample we have taken 250 mg of drug plus 25 ml of 50% ethanol or methanol, and this mixture is sonicated for 1.5 hours in ice cold bath. After this, the filtrate was dissolved in 3 ml of methanol, and that extract is then finally make up to 50 ml using ethyl acetate. Up to 50 ml. So this is the TLC procedure which we can use for the estimation of our phytoconstituent digoxin in our sample. Sophisticated technique for estimation of our phytoconstituent digoxin. We can also use high pressure or high performance liquid chromatography for estimation of our phytoconstituent in a sample. So for that we require certain conditions or certain standard conditions that we have to maintain in order to identify or estimate the exact concentration of our phytoconstituent in the sample. So if you see, we have used for HPLC, we have used the column. Cosmosil is the brand name of column which is used for HPLC, and it is C18 column. C18 means the silica or the stationary phase which we have used is coated with a polymer which is having 18 number of carbon atom, octadecyl siloxane. Exactly, it is called as octadecyl siloxane. So we have used we have used the mobile phase. We have used the acetonitrile, methanol, and water. Here we have used the ultra purified water for HPLC analysis. So in a ratio of 10:100:90, we have used these following solvents as mobile phase. For detection we have set our UV detector of HPLC at 220 nanometers for exact identification of the peak of our phytoconstituent digoxin in the sample. The flow rate for the analysis was maintained at 0.5 ml per minute. This means that from the outlet, from the final outlet, you get the solvent at a flow rate of 0.5 ml per minute. The injection volume we have used is 20 microliters, which we have injected in the injector, and the RT or the retention time we have obtained for digoxin was found to be 12.9 minutes. It means that after running your sample or after injecting your sample, your highest peak for digoxin was obtained at 12.9 minutes. So you can see from this chromatogram. This is the chromatogram for your standard, and you can see that the maximum peak, the maximum or the highest peak was observed at a time period of 12.9 minutes after the injection. And in this way you can determine your sample or your sample for the presence of this particular phytoconstant. When you inject the sample, you observe various peaks, like in this chromatogram you observe various peaks, and you can identify the peak of digoxin from the multiple peaks of the chromatogram of the sample if your peak is observed at the RT value of 12.9 minutes from the time of injection. In this way you can easily detect that this peak belongs to, or this peak must be of the phytoconstant digoxin. So this is the method by which you can estimate, or you can also quantify also your phytoconstant in the given drug sample. If we talk about the utilization of the drug, since it is a cardiolide, its name was given cardiolide because it acts on the heart muscle, and we have also seen in the mechanism of action. So this drug is, this phytoconstant is quite useful for treatment of various heart diseases. Like it is used in the treatment of heart failures. It is used for the treatment or for the correction of irregular heartbeats for patients, those who are having irregular heartbeats at different times. So we can also use this drug for maintenance of their heartbeat and for their treatment of the irregular heartbeats. It is also called as chronic atrial fibrillation. The condition is due to the atrial fibrillation of the heart chamber. And it also decreases the risk of blood clots in the blood vessels. So in this way you can also say that it is it also has an action on the blood and the various proteins which are available in the blood. It prevents the formation of clots inside your blood or blood vessels. It also decreases the chances of heart attack in patients. So in this way you can say that this digoxin, there are other drugs also, digitoxin, digitoxygenin, there are various or numerous drugs, but this is the drug of choice for treatment of heart related disorders or the heart failures for patients in a natural way. So this is all about the production, isolation and estimation of digoxin and the uses of phytoconstant digoxin. Thank you so much. In this way, if you want to join us on our for more lectures, you can log in to our YouTube channel, which is available on the YouTube as Ramesh Institute of Pharmacy e-learning, and you can subscribe it for more updates of the new video lecture. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.